Welcome back to Barcelona. It's time for the women's individual 10-metre platform final, our first and only gold medal of today's action. Been an interesting day so far as we followed the men's 3-metre competition through to the final stage. That final will be tomorrow. But for the women in this 10-metre platform competition, well, there's another mix again of nationalities in there. There's another mix of athletes with a genuine opportunity, but can anybody beat Chen or Se of China? That is the big question, although Chris Snowd, they've not looked terribly sharp coming into this final.
Yeah, not at all. Actually, the divers scored under 400 points, and there's a real chance for Tonya Couch of Great Britain, who's going to be diving second for last. Great semi-finals. And also we have Filion in there, Olympian, and you never know, Malaysian could do it too. Malaysia got a bronze medal last year in London Olympics. So if Chen is to drop, if Si, then they get medals.
Next to her, Lulia Prokopchuk of Ukraine, with a lot of Ukraine team in to support her. We'll be trying to avoid the mistake she made in the semi-final. Laura Marino, 20 years of age, and grew stronger and stronger as the competition developed yesterday. Totally caught. She was.
Representing Malaysia en la lista de oro de los Juegos Olímpicos de Londres, en la plataforma de 10 metros representando a Malasia, Pandelela Pang.
So Pandelela Pang looking for another medal on the big stage. Betancourt has a slightly restricted tariff to her programme, but the Venezuelan doing very well to dive herself into this final. Sarah Barrow alongside Tonya Couch through to this final, looking for medals.
Representing Germany en la lista de bronce en los campeonatos de Europa de 2013, representando a Alemania, Maria Cuyo.
Same generation of athletes as Barrow and Couch from Great Britain. Maria Cuyo, 3 years of age.
In the synchronized 10 meters platform, representing Canada, medallista de bronce en los Juegos Olímpicos de Londres, a la palanca sincronizada de 10 metros, Roselyne Filion.
Olympic and World Championship medalist from Canada, Roselyne Filion, who along with Lulia Prokopchuk is the veteran of this final at 26 years of age.
Representing the People's Republic of China, 6 vegades campiona de les sèries mundials enguany amb només 14 anys d'edat, representant la República Popular de Xina, Si Yaji.
And from one end of the age spectrum to the other, 14-year-old Si Yaji of China.
European champion 2012, 10 meters synchronized platform, representing Great Britain, campeona de Europa en 2012 en la plataforma sincronizada 10 metros, representando a Gran Bretaña, Tonya Couch.
Led right up until the final round before Chen overtook her. Tonya Couch in superb form.
Medalist in the 10-meter platform in Olympic Games in Beijing and London, representing the People's Republic of China, 4 veces campeona olímpica de 10 metros. Plataforma tanto sincronizada como individual, representando a China, Chen Rolin.
Olympic champion and defending world champion Chen Rolin is the woman to beat in this final. The 10-metre platform final for the women coming up after the break.
Hey, kid.
Kobe Bryant? Would you like to have some ice cream, young man?
Ice cream?
Two.
The best fly with Europe's best airline. Turkish Airlines.
Very difficult time for Spain at the moment. The news of the rail accident in Santiago recently, 3 days of mourning officially announced by the country, and our thoughts here on Eurosport are with the victims and their families. So our finalists for the 10-metre platform competition move into position. Well, the clever money's on Chen Rulin, but there is a real opportunity to get in amongst it on the podium today. And a whole host of real talented gymnasts and divers looking to make sure that that happens. But who will be able to join Chen Rulin on the podium? Will it be the youngster? See, just looked a little shaky through some of the rounds yesterday. The junior Chinese champion, Tonya Couch, dominant really until that final round when Chen managed to pull it back together. But let's not forget, we've got the likes of Filion and Pang with Olympic and World Championship medals, and they too could feature. Alongside me, our Eurosport diving expert, Chris Snow. We're looking forward to this one. We'd like to see something that's a little bit tighter in terms of standard than we saw in the semi-final, but we're pretty convinced this is going to be a good head-to-head shootout, aren't we?
Yes, I think the divers will look a lot sharper than they were in the prelims and semi-finals. We're going to have dives definitely going up into the 80s, and it's a world-class field. Chen Rulin is the person that is going to be chased by everybody, and this is the one event in the World Championships that the Chinese are really dominated. And in the semis, we're saying that maybe Russia could pick up their first gold medal, but of course Pechikova went out, and so there's no Russian representative here.
That's right, the synchro pair of Timoshina and Pechikova both disappearing in the qualification phase. We also lost Olympic silver medalist Brittany Broban. Paula Espinosa for Mexico didn't dive the competition. That was a bit of a surprise. World number 4, Noemi Baki, went out, and consistent Mei Nagakawa of Japan as well. So some big names going out in that qualification process. And we are left with the cream of the crop to contest this gold medal.
Well, in the prelims and the semi-finals, Tonya Couch was a great surprise. She led throughout until that final dive. So if she's on and she's hitting her dives for 70s and 80s, she could get Britain's first medal. Talk a lot about Tom Daly, but Tonya Couch, along with her teammate Sarah Burrow, are European champions last year, so they're very good.
Well, we've raved about it all week. The pool here in Barcelona used for the Olympic Games and the World Championships back in 2003. The Games of 1992, for many a dim and distant memory, but you know what? You ask people about the Barcelona Games and this is one of the images they will quote to you. The platform diving with the city stretching out behind the athletes. Certainly an enduring memory. Forward 3.5 somersaults for Alejandra Orozco then. 12 divers, 5 rounds of diving, a gold on offer. And the young Mexican starts with a solid dive, just 16 years of age. A little bit heavy on entry, but that's fine.
Using the corner of the diving board, it's a 3-metre wide platform, but she prefers that side. Sees the water well, locks out. There's a little bit of a shadow now on the diving pool, and it did cause a problem for the men. Hopefully not too much of a problem for the women. 63 for her first dive. She would have wanted a little bit more than that.
Yes, in terms of qualification processes, then 63 is fine. In terms of medals, needs to be up towards the 70s. Quite breezy here in Barcelona this afternoon, but as long as the wind is blowing towards the back of this building, there's quite a large wall that protects the divers on the platform. Prokopchuk with her first round, same dive as before. But we do like the Prokopchuk pike, and the fans and the judges should like that entry.
Yeah, we'll notice on the replay that after she throws, and it's a very good throw, she's over the top of the legs, grabbing the calf muscles, pulling the head towards her legs, sights the water, and she has great leg extension, fantastic toe point going through the water. Got a good score in a prelim.
Yeah, 75. That's more like it in terms of medal contention. A mistake, though, in the semi-finals. We want to eradicate that for the final. It were 2.5 somersaults then for Laura Marino of France. Heavily taped right elbow, and for her arm stand dive, we know that will be a problem later. For now, no issues. She did get some really good rip entries in the semi.
Yeah, very soft and clean going through. Not the tearing sound we normally hear. Massive double bounce on the end of the board. Toes were fine, not too close to the end of the board. We've already seen in men's competition on the springboard, the diver hit the board on in with 2.5, but that was safe.
60.2 though for Laura. Now then, the toughest dive in the competition next. It's done in the first round by Victoria Lamp. It's worth 3.6. It's an arm stand dive. And if Victoria can nail this, then she will give herself a massive opportunity in this final. She hasn't hit it yet in 2 rounds of diving.
Yeah, 3.6. It's a back arm stand double somersaults with 2.5 twists. So the other divers do 1.5 twists, but she's picking up an extra 0.4. She went 73.8 in the semi-finals.
The wind is tricky though, just blowing across the pool at the moment. That's good. And that's the best entry we've seen. What a start from Tori Lamp.
Very tight coming off the diving board. She's a lot sharper now this evening. That's a strong push. Good twist. And now you see the pike down at the end. Feet just a little loose, but she gets the vertical entry. And she needed that. 73 in the semi-finals. There's her coach, Dave Parrington from Tennessee. He's pleased.
Yes, absolutely. And 82.8, what a start. Victoria Lamp for the USA. Perfect opportunity now for her. Same dive then as we saw from Orozco and Prokopchuk, from Olympic bronze medalist Pang of Malaysia. And a lovely entry. Once again, the Malaysian team really strong this year at these World Championships.
Good technique. See how upright she is on the end of the platform. For the first somersault, it spins up. That gives her lots of height here on the triple. Seeing the water in time. Good lineup. See how dark it gets as they come around from light to dark. They're handling it well.
Kopchuk scored 75. Little flutter with the feet at the top, so Pang just losing a few marks on that, but a solid start from her. Betancourt, just 18 years of age, starts with 2.8 dive, finishes on 3.2, but she does have 3 dives below 3.0. That's going to be tough for her to get into a podium position. Very smooth indeed. Not quite the same power as we've saw from Marino, but good nonetheless.
Yeah, through the semi-final, very consistent, but wasn't able to get into the 70 points. Now that was good. Tight pike, just a small roll on the end. Getting close to 70 points.
The second arm stand dive of this first round. There are two. The first done by Victoria Lamp at 3.6, and what a brilliant score she got. British team, Tom Daly, the cheerleader, trying to cheer Sarah on to this 3.2 degree of difficulty dive. And again, like all the athletes, looking for this perfect start just to set the competition up. Beautifully done. Oh, heck of a dive there from Sarah. Maybe, Chris, just a touch too long on the start of the dive and seemed to just weaken a bit on the arms.
She started with a beautiful arm stand, but yes, she fell too long and then didn't get the pop-up off her arms. Use your arms like you're jumping off your legs. There's Andy watching the dive all the way through, her coach. And got a sloppy entry there.
Oh, not happy.
Yeah, 8 points lower than the semi-finals.
Well, Sarah, in the lineup, the introduction to the crowd, in all honesty, didn't look too pleased with the situation. Not happy with her opening score. Now, Maria Cordejo performing the most popular dive that we see in this first round. Filion of China will also do it. It's okay, but not as good as we've seen.
Very poor technique. As she lands on the end of the platform, her head is down, her arms are bent, they're in front of her face, and so she throws towards the water and then doesn't get into a tight pike, runs out of room to get a really strong lockout on the end. Seems to be spinning fast there, but you can see a very big open gap.
Yes, and sub 60. Not the best start for Cordejo. Rosaline Filion, 26 years of age, along with Lulia Prokopchuk, the senior competitor in this final. Platform diving is for the youngsters, that's for sure. Yes, good work from Filion.
Yeah, much better start, very upright, pounds the end of the board. Here we see a bend the knees and bang off the end. Somersault goes up, knees could be a little bit more locked out. Hard for the judges to see that because the elbows cover the back of the knees.
Only 66. Need to be in the 70s really in this sort of company. See, Yangji. 14 years of age. Brand new star to the international scene and already risen to world #1. Oh, just amazing. The pike's so tight.
Yeah, there she hugged her legs. There's hardly any gap. I don't think there's any gap whatsoever. Upright, throw, and now straight in, face down across the top of the shins. Look at the water. That's a shame about that small kick over. She had 3 dives go 70 points out of her 5 in the semi-final, and I think she's looking sharper now.
Yes, 76.50. Good, solid start from C. Only twister of this round, and it's performed by British diver Tonya Couch, who was just superb through 4 rounds of diving in the semi-final. Oh, and that's not a good start, I'm afraid, for Tonya.
No, she started, just pulled the dive off the diving board. The twist was starting just a little early here. And then when she pulled down into the pike, she lost sight of the water and couldn't stop the rotation. Well, went 70s in the semi-final. She's dropped 30 points on that dive.
Oh dear, that's a tough one to take. First round and already made it very difficult for herself. Generally, and then the defending champion just gradually put things together yesterday. Can she start strongly today? Yep, straight into her stride. Smile from the coach, that confirms all is well.
She was the only diver that didn't go below 70 points yesterday. Look at that. Tight pike, locking out. But her entries aren't as good as when she won the Olympics last year. Splash, and she had no splash at all.
Still good enough for 76.50. But a bit of temporary stardom for the American Victoria Lamp. What a great start to the competition she's made with her big dive. She's nailed it for 82.80. She leads Chen and Si and Prokopchuk at the moment, along with Pang, just off the top three. So that's the end of the first round. We'll take a break and round two to come. Welcome back, round two. Alejandra Orozco of Mexico with her arm stand dive. Well, something strange going on with the feet there. That wasn't the most convincing performance.
Yeah, flattens the feet as she's going around from the twist to the pike. Good at this point. Feet go flat there, crossing over, then flat as she pikes down. Got the vertical entry, but she wasn't locked out with her elbows. That's why the splash came back up as her body went through the water.
65.60. If China are diving to full potential, then you've got to be in the 70s. That is where Prokopchuk was on the first round. Can she follow it? Vastly experienced Ukraine athlete. Fourth position after the first round, in with 3.5 somersault then for Prokopchuk. Must cancel out the errors in this final. So if she keeps diving like that, I'm afraid it's going to be difficult to get on the podium.
She looked quite relaxed on the end of the platform, but then just tightens up a fraction throwing down. Distance is good, not too close to the end of the board, but didn't react fast enough on the kick out, and that caused the dive to go over.
See how much of a problem it will be. Oh dear, 57.60. Prokopchuk's challenge faltering. Laura Marino. Now this is her problem dive, Chris, because of the elbow injury. She has a real issue with this arm stand.
That's right.
She hold it. Very tentative with this arm. And she tends to just go up and balance straight over. She's held it this time. Oh, that's a terrific effort. And Chris, I'm just trying to think about this dive yesterday. I'm pretty sure she did a different dive for a higher tariff and has just changed it round today.
No, she did the arm stand double, and but she fell too far, and like you said, she wasn't able to hold her handstand at the start, and she lost points for it. But that was a very good jump off the hands, but because of the low degree of difficulty, even though she's got 8, it's below 60 points.
Very tough to make anything from a 2.4 degree of difficulty. Yeah, my apologies. The previous 2 rounds, she got up and fell straight off, and that was a good effort from Marino. Now then, she set the standard. She's got the lead. Victoria Lamp now needs to hang on for dear life. Forward 3.5 then. Already seen this by a lot of the divers. Only really the Chinese pair finishing it properly. Prokopchuk's was fair as well. And no, missed it, I'm afraid.
Yeah, she missed it for under 60 points in the semi-finals. And although she lands upright, the jump just isn't there. She's spinning very slow and just doesn't have time to grab her hands. So that 82 point that she got in the first round will just be swallowed up by a low score now.
Well, still positive. Coach Parrington. 55-50.
She's saying, I'm staying with it, stay with it, because it's such a slow spin.
20-year-old Malaysian Olympic medalist, Pandaleda Rinongpam. 2.9 for this second round. Then she goes 3.2s for the remaining three. So she does have a good, strong degree of difficulty to this dive program. Oh, it's beautiful. What a dive.
Yeah, you see the way that she just flew around. She spun very fast at the start, feet down in the water. The last half somersault, she's just in the straight position. Quick here, there's the somersault now out, fly around, and then reach back. Well, that was quite impressive. And look how she pulls her forward, her head forward. The pike is finished. Now she looks at the board. The board is just there, and she spotted then the water. What a great dive.
76.85. Good marks, but 2.9 on the degree of difficulty. Just keeps it out of the 80s. Superb dive. Going to see the same dive now from Betancourt, so a little bit of pressure passing to the Venezuelan. Interesting to see what her out is like. Is it as glamorous as Pang's?
Well, she'd have to spin just as fast to float around on it.
Not quite the same height, just let it wash over, unfortunately.
Yeah, just needed to press the feet down a little bit more after she came out. Good jump. Very good pike, but here, just a fraction out late. And there's a long time waiting for it to go over. She knew it was going to go over. She tried to reach her arms back quickly, but it couldn't stop the rotation.
50.75 for Betancourt for her second round dive. So Navarro pacing around at the top of the platform, that breeze still swirling about. Oh, poor Sarah does not look happy at all. I don't know what the issue is, but clearly hasn't come into this final in a particularly positive frame of mind and was not happy about the first mark that she picked up from the arm stand dive. Oh, what a finish. Absolutely disappeared on that one. That might get a smile.
Do like Candy's actions there. Well, I think she was angry. She was 8 points down on the first dive, and now she attacked that throw, picks the spot just in the right place, shoots straight out of it. 3.2. She could be up into close to the 80s.
Great reaction from the British team. 76.80. Close, but not close enough, and still no smile from Sarah. Curio. Second arm stand of this second round. Gary's Church de Familia in the background, still under construction incidentally. And Curio constructing a very nice arm stand, but away a little quickly, and just well, this is the problem with her diving, Chris, isn't it? She just seems to fall through the actions into the water.
Yeah, never fully got into a straight position, but lucky on the entry, comes around, sees the water, and not too much splash, but I think she can work on that flick at the start so she can finish even higher.
73.60 from the young German. Roselyne Fillon. 7th position after her first round 3.5. If she does have desire for the podium, which all our finalists do, of course, then she's going to need to get things going now.
13th in semi-finals, qualified 4th in the finals.
It's a little bit better from her.
You notice that she always finishes low to the water, but she does get the vertical entry. She's very experienced. She's not as acrobatic as some of the other divers. She's tough. She knows where she is, kicks in the right place. Didn't quite get the save in there. Well, that won't hurt her too bad.
69.30. Well, sub 70 again. Same dive then for our last three, our top three. In with 3.5 somersaults. LBC Yaji to get things underway. Terrific speed on the spin, Chris, and then just had forever to come out.
Did you see how high she finished? That was an incredible start. Coordinates the jump and the throw. She's finished a triple at 7.5 meters. She's out of her pike at about 5 meters and is still looking at the water. There she's out from the tuck to the pike, locking out. That's a near perfect entry.
Oh, and a fantastic score. 86.4. Takes her into top spot for the moment. Tonya Couch, unfortunate start when she missed her twister.
Well, this is tough. Following an 86, and it's the same dive.
That's a good effort, that really is.
Yeah, she needed that. Well, that keeps her in with the chance. I know she went 43 on the first dive. But if she can get well into the 70s and rely on some of the others to miss, then she may have an outside chance of a medal still. Good jump. Safe, not too close to the end of the diving board. Squeezing that tuck, trying to increase the rotation, but good entry.
He's loving it, Andy Banks. And let's see if Tonya's loving the score. Yes, indeed, that's better. 80 points for her then in the second round. Tonya Couch back in business, as it were, in this final. I think we will see mistakes across the board. And that'll open up the silver and bronze medal positions, but Chen Lin is the diver that can take it away from everybody. That's assuming that she doesn't perform to her level as well. Same dive then from the defending champion. And done beautifully. Quite exceptional there from Chen. Not quite the same speed in the spins.
Well, we saw get an 86 on this. We've seen Tonya with an 80. I think that's somewhere in between. Better than Tonya's. But we'll see what they give the Olympic champion.
Well, there you go. 86.4. They thought it was every bit as good as C's. Well, we asked for a higher standard in this final. We've got it. Everybody tightening up their act. But it's Chen Lin leading from Si Yaji. In fact, it's shared. My apologies. Top spot shared on 162.90. And then Pang just ahead of Barrow. And Couch doing herself a few favours, at least starting to build that score now, but it's a long, hard road back to the podium.
ماشي؟
Laura Marino in 12th position. Got through the arm stand dive though without too much of an issue. Same dive that we just saw from Prokopchuk.
Quite low DD for the rest of her dives too.
No, never made it short, I'm afraid, and that's going to be a problem score for Marina.
This is a dive that you have to rely on your eyes. First somersault, normally look at the board. Second somersault, look at the water. Well, as she reaches back, her heels drop down and she goes into a very arched shape and doesn't pull the dive around. It's upset.
Yes, understandably so. Sub 40. Destroyed any chance that she had of a medal. And support for Tori Lamp. That fabulous start, but couldn't follow it up, unfortunately, with the forward 3.5. Missed her entry. Steve Foley alongside Greg Louganis. And Nicky Snowd on the end as well.
Does get around, doesn't he?
Yeah, the big three. Chris's son out there working with Greg in Barcelona as a judge for the highball competition next week. And Steve watching his athlete doing very well in the final.
Wobble.
Oh, I was spinning forever and just never got out.
She's got the arms working, but she's not getting the jump up in the air. Well, throwing down, she's just running out of room. I did speak to Steve earlier and he said, you know, I've got a young crop of divers, we've got 3 years to get them ready. I still have some of the experienced divers like Olympic champion David Badaya.
Malayla Pang diving well. Malaysia have brought a good team to Barcelona, but led by this lady. Third position at the moment. Arm stand dive for Pang. 3.2 on the tariff. She goes 3.2s for the remaining 3 rounds, so she does have a good degree of difficulty. Oh no, collapsed, and that is immediate deduction, and I can't see any breeze there at all for her to be contending with either.
No, she had the weight too much over her fingers, and this is the dive that she went 81 points on in the semi-final.
Not going to happen. It's a restart. She's not comfortable at all. And it's all gone wrong for Pang, I'm afraid, in the 3rd round. And what a shame, because it was a beautiful dive in the end.
And she was ranked 3rd at this point. But really, she put her hands back down again too early. She should have stepped back, recomposed herself. She can go 80 points on this. And again, you saw her go up into her arm stand. She was wobbling around. That's... well, even scored 54 points out of that. But she was expecting 80.
Yeah, automatic 2-point penalty for the restart, putting pay to Pang's chances. Possibly putting pay to any medal chance as well. Betancourt with the forward 3.5. That'll be followed by Sarah Barrow with the same dive for Great Britain. This is the dive that Tonya Couch also does at the end of this round. That's pretty good. We like the pike, very similar again to Pam and Prokopchuk.
Now she lands upright, this is good. Just the head down a fraction, quickly into the pike. Very good pike position there. Could have brought the arms out to the side a bit more on the triple before closing to hold the entry. But she'll take that. That's better than the semi-final.
Yeah, definitely. Good work. 72 marks. There's Tori Lamp just discussing things with Coach Parrington, former Zimbabwe international, but has been coaching for many, many years in the USA.
Yeah, he dived both platform and springboard at the 1980 Olympic Games.
Yeah,
Good
they
diver.
used to back in the day.
Both boards.
Now then, Barrow. Good strong last round. Can she follow it up? Oh, she got there, but it wasn't the most convincing forward 3.5.
I remember after she came out the prelim, she was saying she was having a problem with Andy there, jumping forward. Now, this is a better takeoff, but still she's travelling away from the board and doesn't have that much time to get out. So it's an improvement on the prelims and the semi-finals, but still not quite getting that pop up in the air. Little gap there, she's trying to pull in.
Full support from the British coaching staff. 60 dead for Sarah Barrow. Still isn't where she wants to be in terms of the scoring zone. Cordial, 2.8 degree of difficulty, then a 2.9, then goes back up to 3.2 for her final round. And those tariffs are incredibly important. A degree of risk can bring you a high degree of marks. That's a beautiful dive, Chris, but it'll be restricted on the amount that she can score.
Yeah, just 2.8. It was equal best dive for her in the semi-final, scored 70 points. Well, she got the vertical entry, but you can't, she's not locking out enough, and so that splash is being thrown up. Whatever score she gets, she could score another 10 points just with the tighter entry.
67.20, so a little bit below her semi-final performance. Filion, strong finish for her 3 dives, so she's not out of it just yet in terms of a podium place.
Now she struggles on this dive because of the height. If she can get a faster spinning dive at the start, a bit more room on the end, then she has a chance. 51 points in the semi-finals. It's a good jump.
No, missed it.
Yeah, ran out of room again. The divers practice this dive on a block in the gym. So they do a somersault there and try to stand up. You can see that if she did the first somersault in the gym, she would be sitting down on just 3/4 of a somersault. She can correct that, she'll finish higher.
41.60, and Filion will struggle now to get anywhere near the podium. She's not the only one that's messed up in this round either. Thiaji, joint first position with the defending champion, Chen Rulin. This is C's arm stand in round 3. Chen also doing an arm stand dive, incidentally. They copy each other's dives all the way through these final 3 rounds. Well, not exactly a hold at the top, but it was definitely in control, and then a very good entry again from the youngster.
Yeah, the key thing is that you show that you're in control. I would have liked her to hold longer, but clearly she knows how to do a handstand. Slight bend in the knees, just piking down. I think she's leaning for a little too long before going into the twist, but still she'll score 70 points on it.
Oh,
80.
Way more. 81.60, that caught us.
Well, that was strange because the one in the semi-final was better, but it scored less than that.
That's how it sometimes goes across the course of the day. 4.3.5 then for Tonya Couch. Good last round. If she can put another decent round in here, then she could get herself back in the mix. Oh, just reaching. Just trying to drag the water towards her.
Yeah, it was a very good start. She only needed 77.6 to go into 3rd place. Good dive at this point, but here coming around, she reaches forward, wrong part of the water to reach for, and drops short.
52.50. Means that Couch will stay comfortably outside that top 3. Disappointment for the diver that led through most of the semi-final. Arm stand as well for Chen. Exactly the same arm stand that we saw from Sid. And Chris, a real chance now to contrast the scores that she gets against her compatriot. It's entirely possible that they will remain locked together in 1st place after this dive.
Exactly. Well, she goes 81 points. It will be on 1st place joint. All up very quick there. That's good though.
Yeah, it's another cracking dive now. Surely that is 81.6 or better.
Well, I'm going to give a bet it'll go slightly less, but we'll see. it's a good dive though, isn't it? That push off of there, the determination on her face as she's going into the twist.
What a shot.
It'll be amazing if they're on the same score again. I don't think I've seen that before. Let's just see though.
Well, I never. 81.6.
You were right.
Exactly the same. Judges can't separate the Chinese divers at the moment. So Chen Rulin and Si Yaji sharing 2:44.50 and top spot, just ahead of Pandalena Pang, but she is only just holding off Sarah Barrow at the moment. And then it's Prokopchuk and Korjo. And Couch, who did so well through qualification, unfortunately off the pace at the moment, still down there, languishing in 11th. We'll take a break there.
Messi?
Hey, kid.
Kobe Bryant? Would you like to have some ice cream, young man?
Ice cream?
Two.
The best fly with Europe's best airline. Turkish Airlines.
Welcome back. China away at the moment from the rest of the field, locked together in joint top spot. Judges can't separate them on points. Alejandra Orozco still enjoying her final. She's done well to get here, the young Mexican. Paula Espinosa, incidentally, in this competition, dived in the synchro but didn't come out for the individuals. Prokopchuk with her arm stand. We've got arm stand from Prokopchuk, from Betancourt and from Couch.
Prokopchuk is just 0.05 behind Sarah Barrow, and that is just 1 point behind third place.
Oh no, didn't hold on to that arm stand. She's done really well. I mean, she's absolutely ripped that entry, but the opening part of that dive was not so good.
Yeah, the judges will mark a point or two down just because of that. But boy, she kicks in the right place, reaches back, gets the squeeze against the ears.
Put her over, and Krasnoshlik watching on. 80.85.
Wow.
Well, that's thrown the gauntlet down to Barrow, who's just above her in the leaderboard. Marino at the moment in 12th position for France. This was always going to be a big ask in this final. She's done really well to qualify for it with her restricted tariff across the dives. Has no dives into the 3 zone.
This is a 3.5 in the easier tuck position.
Yes, nicely done.
Good control on the end. We'll see clearly that she goes from the tuck to the pike position on the triple. Just a little bit forward there. Good tuck, spinning well. Now the pike, looking at the water, and then just in time, hands together. Shame it's just at 2.7. So it should be under 70, definitely, and she is.
There's only so much you can do with a degree of difficulty that is down on the rest of the field. Oh, last little thought. Eyes closed from Tori Lamp. Started this competition brilliantly. At least she can say, I was leading in a World Championship final.
Currently back in 8th.
Oh, tried the out, but just floated over.
Yeah, the start wasn't particularly good as she swings her arms over her head, her hips go forward, and that takes a long time to get your legs around. Toes a little close to the board, but out too late, and way over on the end, so the judges there will mark that down. It's a beautiful shot, isn't it? Just floating around. Steve Foley watching. Head drops.
Yes, 49.30. Lamp's challenge is fading. Pang was right in it, but unfortunately, from her point of view, just missed in the last round. And now needs to recover the situation. The arm stand less than convincing. Give it 3.5 then. For Pang, it's about holding off the rest who are challenging for bronze, and she's going to struggle to do it with diving like that.
Yeah, she certainly will. She missed it in the semi-finals, just 43 points. Here, I think she's very close to the board. Judges can mark her down for that, but mostly they're going to mark her down for the entry. Slightly better than semi-finals, but it is a miss for her, and an opportunity for the others.
56. Dead for Pang, so the door is just creaking open in terms of those chasing bronze. That's good news in terms of what Sarah Barrow has to achieve in this round. She will follow on from this arm stand dive from the Venezuelan Betancourt.
This is a very difficult way to go into the arm stand. It's so close to the feet.
Yep, solidly done. Lovely entry from Betancourt.
Yeah, good little jump off the platform into the half twist. There's the jump. Now the twist and then into the pipe. That's really well performed. Just need a bit more work on the entry.
.64.80, good scoring. So Betancourt temporarily in third place. Huge 2 rounds of diving here for Great Britain's Sarah Barrow to come. Now she's got a 2.7 degree of difficulty on this next dive. Goes back up to 3.2 in the next round. And for Sarah, this reverse 2.5 has to be absolutely perfect. Look for the rip entry. See if she can get that and set a foundation for the last round. That's good, isn't it? That is very good.
She has had 10s on this dive before. Always in control. It is a low degree of difficulty, but it's going to score well. Strong jump, good spot there. Another good spot and kick. Well, she needed that. Excellent. Definitely an 8.5 dive.
Kick and vanish. Kept the crowd happy. 68.85. Still moving in the right direction. So Courier of Germany. Set position for her. Back 2.5 somersault in this 4th round.
Needs 70.4 to go ahead of Barrow.
It's a good effort.
Yeah, I think should go in the 70s. Not particularly a high jump, but it's a controlled out. Just slightly bent legs there, below the board on the first somersault. Small knee save going through the water. Well, I haven't given it to, have they?
No, not into the 70s. So Courier with work still to do. She's going to close down that gap between her and Barrow. Fillon, 10th position, not where we expected to see her.
Well, I'm sure she's too far back now. 41 points on that inward 3.5. This is a joint most difficult dive for her. She's already done a 3.3. This is another one. Back arm stand triple.
Had to reach for that, but a nice entry.
Yeah, a little bit sharper off the platform then. There's the snap. Good push. Tucks a little open, grabbing the knees. Good reach back though. 67 in the prelims. That was better. Just feet could be more pointed. Finally gets to the point. She comes around on half the somersault.
72.60. Too little too late, I think, from Fillon. Siagi locked in a terrific battle. We said there was going to be a shootout for this gold medal. In all honesty, we couldn't tell you exactly who between, but the two Chinese divers have come to the party and at the moment out-diving everybody else. Oh, wow, she's missed it. Fantastic extension off the platform, Chris, and what happened at the end?
I think she's just feeling a little slow on the somersault. Great jump, as you said, but here, just a little slow, finishing lower than normal. She kicks out like she normally would, but she was about a metre or so lower. Head's in a good position, it's forward, getting very low on the shins. That's a good tuck position. It's a miss though.
67.65. Means Chen is going to have to miss as well in order for their scores to be the same, because remember, they do the same dive through the final rounds, which I guess makes things a little bit easier for us to look at and compare. Arm stand for Tonya. Look of fierce determination on her face, but very like Fillon. Probably too late in the day to do anything about the situation. Again, just kind of fell away from the board, and that didn't leave anything for the dive.
Yeah, it just needs to work on the start a fraction more. The lean is too long here before the push off. But if she could just dig down deeper on that pike, she would have had more chance to get feet up for a vertical entry. It was 70 points in the semis. That was poor a dive.
62.40. Tonya Couch. Frustrating final for her, having dived so well in the previous rounds. Chen, same dive that we saw from compatriot Siagi.
She needs 67.65 to go ahead of her teammate. Oh, she's missed it too.
And in a really similar way. How bizarre.
Well, C went 67 points. This is just as short. In fact, I think it's even shorter. I'd be surprised if it even goes 60. Look how short that was. Big splash thrown up. Well, it's sluggish there at start. Doesn't really pull in to increase the rotation. And she's missed the dive. This is where I thought she'd be increasing her lead. And she's lost that opportunity. Now it's quite open for her.
And finally, they are separated by the lesser of two errors. Siagi marginally tidier. And so she takes over in top spot as the divers prepare to go into the fifth and final round. Siagi leads, but it's tight. Chen just ahead of Prokopchuk, who's moved herself into bronze medal position, and Sarah Barrow also with an opportunity to get that medal, and Kurjok just going about her work in a steady, consistent manner, getting herself up there onto the first page as well. Sixth and final round then of the women's platform final, and it's a round of twisters with the exception of Tonya Couch. Everybody else does a twisting dive, so 11 to come. Different varieties, of course, different tariffs. And Siagi, the 14-year-old, leads for China ahead of the defending champion Chen Rulin. Alejandro Orozco then to finish. And solidly done. Not quite what she'd be looking for, but clearly a talent for the future.
Yes, she was looking very sharp in the semis. Got through in 16th and then moved up to 12th, and has missed every entry, which is a real shame. Technically a good dive there, pulling into the twist. Good action. Chin just down a little bit, but it's the entry that let her down again. (68.80) 4 to 98.15. That score on the right-hand side of the
graphic, the overall accumulated total across the 5 rounds. So, good tariff to finish here for Prokopchuk, and remember, she's trying to hold off the attentions of Sarah Barrow. Does have a reasonable advantage over Sarah. So just over 10 points to play with. Can she lay down a decent marker here? And a much better dive than the one we saw from Orozco. That's a beautiful effort from Prokopchuk.
Yeah, she had a little bit of lead over Sarah Barrow, who's in 4th place, and gets that jump. Your movement on the feet. Perfect pike, though, after the twist. Now, that's going to be hard to beat. Moving out of the twist into the pike. A lot of the divers haven't been able to get into that tight pike. She did that, and that gave her a lot of height on the end to finish off a good dive.
There we go, 76.80 for 358.40. Prokopchuk sitting nicely in that bronze medal position. It means Barrow's going to have to dive high 80s to overhaul her in this last round. Marino. Forward 2.5 somersaults with a single twist for the French woman in 12th position. And that's a nice finish from Laura.
Choosing to do the twist first. So this is a full in, not a full out. So a full in twist first. Do the twist and then pull forward. Shame about those legs moving up around. But a good vertical entry. She corrects those feet. An extra 10 points more than she received there.
29.70 overall. But she's made a final. That goes on the CV and goes in the experience bank as well. Victoria Lamp has led this competition at one point. Fantastic opening dive. If only she could get a bit more degree of difficulty and performance into the rest of the programme, then she'd be up there. Again, twister to finish. Same dive as we saw from Orozco and Prokopchuk. And a fine finish from Lamp.
Much, much better. This time she was tight coming off the diving board. No loose back. Dave Parrington, a coach, watching on there. That's a good 1.5 twist. Much tighter with those feet. And gets that vertical entry. Long line is good for diving.
72 marks is good for Victoria Lamp, so 301.20 for the American.
Well, we could have a winner that doesn't go over 400 points.
There's definitely potential for that, so it's proving that the sport is cyclical. Doesn't always keep rising and rising. Pang to finish. And a beautiful finish, and unfortunately for her, just that single error on the arm stand. Otherwise she'd have been there or thereabouts for a medal.
And she was one of the divers that we thought would be pushing for a medal. She qualified in the semi-final second, got through to the finals in 8th place, and she's an Olympic medalist. Didn't expect her to be down out of the medals. Good final dive, though.
Yes, it was. 334.55 for Pantalela Renongpam. That's the end of her diving final. And Prokopchuk waits. Bronze medalist waiting to be crowned. Betancourt. Fantastic performance from the Venezuelan. In terms of merits for the programme and how that bears in relation to funding, and this is a really good performance from Maria.
Wow, did you see that jump off the platform? But she couldn't control the entry. She's got springs in her legs. Bend of the knees, straight up in the air. 1.5 twist, finished at board level. Somersault finished at 6.5 meters, and couldn't put the brakes on. So acrobatic.
She's a real talent, that's for sure. And Betancourt turning in a fantastic performance for Venezuela in this final. Well, if you asked any diver what would they like in the final round, they'd tell you the opportunity to dive for a medal. Sarah Barrow has exactly that. 3.2 degree of difficulty for this particular twisting dive that we've seen a lot from other competitors, but she's got to make it into the high 80s, and that's going to be a tough demand on this one.
Yeah, maximum score of 96 you can get on this dive. She got 70.40 in the semi-finals. She's going to have to go best ever.
Just that little flutter of the legs, she gave it her best shot. Beautiful entry, but it's not going to be enough to beat Prokopchuk, surely.
Yeah, it really depends on how much the judges will take off for that little flutter of feet. She'll want to try and get into the 80s for any chance of going ahead. Oh, very good lineup. Just a small kick over on the feet, like the jump off the diving board.
Yeah, just that little separation on a couple of parts of the twist.
Yeah, Sarah's thinking about the arms rather than with the other part of her body.
Long wait, long hold for this one, and Sarah Barrow can't do it, unfortunately. Can't get back in touch with Prokopchuk, who stays just over 10 points ahead. Just lengthen that out to 12 points. Good try, though, from Barrow. And a good return on the last 2 days of diving for Great Britain. Still not the medal that the team is searching for. What we go then for Germany? They already have a gold in the shape of Housding and Klein. And not there, I'm afraid, from Kyrgyz.
Yeah, it was mathematically possible to go ahead of Prokopchuk, but you'd have to get 94 points, and clearly not a strong jump, open in the pipe, and very heavy on the entry.
Yeah, she just doesn't have 10s in her on that particular dive, and that's where she would have needed to have been. 72 for 3.36.55, but a good strong performance again from Maria Kyrgyz. She's becoming a consistent finals performer, and Prokopchuk hanging on here and watching every diver through, because well, you never say never in this sport, but Fillon too far off the pace in 8th position. I think she's waiting to see what Si Yaji and Chen Rulin do with the same twisting dive as she has performed. So Fillon to finish off her campaign. Finishes it well.
Yeah, she would have needed a 9.1 average as a chance for a bronze medal. And a slight movement or a small twist on the entry. Good start. A little bit low going into the second part of the dive. But we can clearly see as she went through the water, her second leg so wobbly on the end. Good twist position. These could be locked out a little more there.
67-2-0. Never really in with a chance there. And so to the contest for gold. This is the marker to be laid down. The clubhouse lead, if you will, for Si Yaji. That back 2.5 somersaults with the 1.5 twist that so many divers have done. And Chen Rulin will do. Has a marginal lead. And there you go. Well, little wash over on that one, Chris, so something for the judges to work with.
Well, Chen Rulin is only 9.25 points behind her, so whatever Si gets, Chen Rulin will have a chance. A good dive until she just hits that entry. But that has given an opportunity, although it's a slim one for Chen Rulin. There could be a new world champion.
Brilliant performance. She moves into the lead and does so with a big score. 392.15 after that 80 points. And basically add 9 to that, and that's the challenge that Chen Rulin has when she comes to the board. But that dive can only hit a certain maximum, so Chen is going to have to be virtually perfect if she's going to get anywhere close to the 96 that you can get for the dive. Tonya Couch then reverse 2.5 somersaults, the only non-twister in this final round for Tonya. And the rip entry to finish, but it will be disappointment for the 23-year-old because she knows it could have been so much better.
Yeah, this is her favourite dive. She's got 10s on it before. She knows how to do it, even under pressure, but she's left it too late.
Yes, I was referring, of course, to the overall competition performance. It could have been so much better. That dive was excellent. But Tonya Couch there will be feeling that. So Barrow and Couch missing out on the medals for Great Britain. The organisers just trying to make sure the 14-year-old stays around in the right places. Those are the things you have to learn when you're not diving. Now then, what, 9.2 average required for 88.25. This is a huge demand for Chen, but the defending champion can do it. Oh, it's a brilliant effort. That's a brilliant effort. Oh, she's not so sure. She walks off.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be a big splash. She'll need over 9s, though. Is that just too much to ask for her? It's a 9 definitely dive.
This is going to be so close. This is going to be really, really close.
Well, she's not the ranked #1 champion at the moment, but she is the Olympic champion and the reigning champion, and she's having to wait for those final judges' scores.
Oh, she has got it. The defending champion has been beaten. It isn't another gold medal for her, but it is a gold medal for 14-year-old Si Yaji, and China have yet another new diving star. Prokopchuk delighted. She's picked up a bronze medal, so a strong challenge for her to finally come away with an individual championship medal from these Worlds. And for Chen Rilin, well, just look at that reaction. She wanted that gold medal so desperately, but it's been taken away from her by this youngster. Terrific performance in the end. Not the high-scoring final, Chris, but real drama again.
Yeah, real drama. It was under 400 points. It just seemed to be going that way. And Chen Rilin wasn't on form, and that opened it up for Si Yaji, and a new world champion, and so young. These Chinese have produced many world champions at 14 and 15 years of age. Chen Rilin was just 14 when she got her silver those years ago.
Confirmation then, Si Yaji takes that gold medal, Chen takes the silver, and Lydia Prokopchuk just ahead of a very good performance by Sarah Barrow. Prokopchuk takes the bronze. Well, another fascinating medal competition comes to a close. China once again have their hands on the medals, gold and silver.